Yo, Vycery here. Today, we're gonna take a quick look at bow. What are the changes from the beta, and what are the best combos, or the best combos I could find so far. First things first, from the beta, bow got changed quite a bit. As you can see, we have now 10 power coatings instead of 8. That is a tiny little buff. Every coating is now 10 instead of 8, which makes coating management a little bit better. The second thing is that bow got substantially faster. You can now dash and shoot way faster than in the beta. As you can see, the power volley comes out faster. The bug from the beta where you would dash into a power volley is now completely gone. So you will always do a power shot after a normal shot. And thirdly, the tracer got nerfed quite a bit. If I do a level 3 charge right now, I deal 15.5 damage. With Tracer now, I only deal 15.4. Now, there seems to be a bug going on where the Tracer would still increase your damage, but it doesn't work in the training area. So, there still are some fixes to look for, but as I said, the Tracer got substantially nerfed from the beta, from 70% increased damage way down. So, in my opinion, that is a good thing. Now, elemental bow seems to be still a very good thing to do. I don't have the chance right now to test out the best builds. I'm not that far into the game. But in the future, I will look into more bow builds. I will do more testing. As of right now, I just want to show some normal combos you can do. With bow, since it's a charge-based weapon, you want to get to a charge quickly, and you want to keep your charge as much as possible. To do that, you can either just normal shot until you see those 2 dots beside your aim, and that indicates that you're at highest charge level. Then you can dash and you will keep your charge for 1 shot. If you do a power shot afterwards, your charge will be gone. So the only way to keep it is by doing this. And that will take a lot of stamina, dash shot, dash shot. So the charge level is still important, but you will lose it if you do a power shot. The normal shots also got changed from the beta. In the beta, every shot dealt the same damage, just with a different arrow count. Now in the full game, every shot deals more damage and you get more arrows. So normal shots got buffed substantially. Power shots do interact with the charge level. So every time you do a power shot, it uses the charge level of the next shot. So if you do it after a quick shot, for example, you only shoot 3 arrows because that's level 1. If you do a normal shot into a power shot, it's level 2, that's 4 arrows. And if you do it after the second normal shot, you shoot 5. That's level 3. That is the max level. The same thing goes for the power volley. At level 1, it shoots 4 arrows if you do it right after a power shot. At level 2, you shoot 5 arrows. And at level 3, you shoot 6 arrows. You can always do a power volley after a power shot. So even if you dash, power shot, power volley, you can always do that. The power volley deals more damage than the power shot with an extra arrow. So that will be probably your main damage dealer together with power shot. Now, next up, let's talk a little bit more about coatings. As I said, we now have 10 coatings all the time. Power coating got nerfed from the beta. Instead of dealing 50% more damage, it seems now that power coating is only 30% more damage, which is quite a nice nerf to make bow a little bit more balanced. We also have close range coating and pierce coating. Pierce coating is the most interesting because it pierces through the monster. You deal less damage per tick, but if you have a big monster where your arrows pierce through, you can deal quite substantial damage, as you can see right here. Close range coating actually got buffed. So instead of close range coating being only there to give you an 18% damage increase, Now, close range coating gives you a 40% damage increase, even more than power coating. The reason I would explain this is because in previous games, power coating always had a limited amount that you can use. For example, in World, you had 50 plus 20 if you recombine with Hunt. Now that there is no limit to coatings anymore, there is also no downside to power coating anymore. While for close range coating, your range will get substantially reduced. So without close range coating, I can go quite far away. The aim right there is not 100% true, so even if I am technically out of it, I can still do max damage with my arrows here. And the last normal shot has more range than the other shots. And if I switch to close range coating, now I'm completely out of range and you see my arrows fall off way earlier than before. So to give close range coating more of an incentive to be used, they increase the damage of it even higher than power coating. What is good about power coating and close range coating is the tracer. The tracer makes you have more range, so that's really good. Even if it says out of range right now, my arrows still do full damage right there. So the tracer is still a very good option, but it seems like the tracer is not too focused anymore. Why? I will say in a little bit, because with pierce coating there is some really wonky stuff going on with the tracer, where I always have the feeling that if I have the tracer with pierce coating, I'll deal less damage. But more on that in a little bit. Further than that, we still have our arc shot, which is the same as from the beta. Nothing changed here. You can still target your fuse arrows and explode them. Just like that. And if you have a wound, as you saw with the focus attack, you still target it. Now the difference in focus attack, because that got changed, is now every single weak spot you want to target needs to charge up at least one triangle. In the beta you could target all of them. Now not anymore. As you can see, I always have to target one triangle first before the next weak spot gets charged. So the focus mode got slower for bow. It is still very good to use, but substantially slower. With close range and power coating, one attack in particular that is good to use would be 1000 Dragons. Because 1000 Dragons will, or does have a really high spread in arrows. Even if you stand further away, you can do 1000 Dragons and all the arrows will home onto the target, onto the tracer. So using power and close range coating in combination with 1000 Dragons seems to be a quite good combination, and you can immediately dash out of it to cancel some of the recovery animation and deal more damage. Now, with pierce coating, like I said, there is some little bit of wonk going on. If I deal a little bit of damage here, of course I have crit on my bow right now, so those numbers are not 100% always the same. But we could say in total I deal around 300 damage with a level 3 shot, a power shot, and a power volley. Now if I use the tracer, and we are going to repeat that, you will see that my damage, even with pierce coating, is substantially lower. I lose a lot of damage by using tracer in combination with pierce coating. So from my limited testing I could do, I would say that for power and close range coating, the tracer is still a very good option. But for pierce coating in particular, I think it's best played without the tracer. Just because there is some weird tracking going on from the arrows, and I think it can mess up the pierce quite a lot. Now, talking about pierce coating, one big thing that comes to mind would be Dragon Piercer. Dragon Piercer works very well with pierce coating. So with a normal Dragon Piercer, we deal around 144 damage. With a fast Dragon Piercer, minus 15, we deal, about 100 damage. Now, if I use Pierce Coating on top of the Dragon Piercer, we will see a very high damage increase in that attack. So we see that my damage goes very high, and of course with more skills, with burst, with more crit skills, that damage can go higher and higher. So for my limited testing, it is way better to use Thousand Dragons in combination with Close Range or Power Coating, and Dragon Piercer in combination with Pierce Coating. I will make a more lengthy video in the future about bow as soon as I have more of testing data, as soon as I dived into more research. But as of right now, I think it's safe to say the Dragon Piercer really accelerates with Pierce Coating. Status Coating like Poison, Para, Sleep or Blast, even Exhaust Coating, they will inflict all the statuses they describe. Poison Coating obviously inflicts poison, Sleep Coating inflicts sleep, and you don't get more damage from those coatings. Your damage will be the same as you have no coating equipped. You only gain the status effect, not more damage. There's also something called the Flying Swallow Shot, which honestly I don't find that useful. I don't find a lot of good opportunities to use that attack. So it might be a good thing if you quickly want to get out of an attack. So if the monster is attacking you and you really want to go out and far away, you can use the Flying Swallow Shot to cover a lot of distance. But yeah, honestly, since Flying Swallow Shot also loses all of your charge level when you perform it, so you can do this, Swallow Shot, and now you're at charge level 0 again, just as a Power Shot, which just takes longer. I don't find it very useful. In order to cover distance, maybe, but in order to deal damage, not so much. There's a little trick you can do, where you can dash off the ledge, do a Flying Swallow Shot backwards, and dash off a ledge again. Now, since the Tracer will make every single arrow be at highest charge level, you can use this to your advantage and basically spam the Flying Arrow Shot. The only thing you have to keep in mind is this does not work always. So you have to have either a wall behind you, walk to the ledge again, or have a Blade Extender in your build. And of course the Tracer is also mandatory, otherwise your damage will not be that great. But maybe with some further testing, this could be something, another little playstyle that people could use. I think that's all for now. A quick rundown for bow. Like I said, there will be a bigger, more researched breakdown in the future. But for now, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoy Wilds as much as I do, and I hope I see you in the next video. Have a good one.